All right, so yeah, so I was talking about when I get there and her room was locked off, right? So I can't go in there, which even if it was open, that's disrespectful. I'm not gonna go in there, but if I'm gonna be paying for like all of the rent, why does your boyfriend have a key? He could come into my apartment anytime, which I didn't like that at all because I didn't know him very well. I met him one time previously before, right? So I'm like, okay, that makes me really uncomfortable and it's really weird. And I would tell my one friend, and she's like, Jackie, something's off about that. Like, something's off. And I'm like, yeah, it seems off, right? So, like, just like all this weird stuff would happen. And it was one thing after the other. And like, I woke up the one day, I had worked like 2 weeks straight, like extra hours, extra like 60 hours. I put in overtime like you would not believe. I was working like every single day of the week so that I could make money and pay like what I had to, especially living there. They were like draining the hell out of me while she was like, basically what she did, she wanted me to like preserve her apartment for her so that she could keep it so that like when my grandma passes away, she has a place. And basically she wanted to come and basically live off me like she was doing my grandma, because she's a grimy bitch that can't pay her own way. Gold digger. Anyway, a little spoiled brat. But anyway, right? So, because from what I understand, like the money that they got from her mother was drying up because they all got a payout. And that's all they ever care about was a payout. Money, grimy, disgusting, gross. Ugh. But anyway, so so the room was cut off. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm a respectful person. I respect people's privacies, no problem, you know? I lived with my grandfather for how many years, and there were things that I found when he passed that I had no idea was, I was like, wow. But anyway, so I respected that for the time being, but everything that would happen, like every time, like it was almost like they were watching me, which I'm pretty sure that they put surveillance cameras in there when they had access to the place when I wasn't there to do fucked up shit to me. And like they could do little things. And basically that's how gang stalking works. They gang stalk you. They wanted me to off myself. They wanted me to do the dirty work for them, just like they did with my aunt. So they started baiting me and basically grooming me and like my aunt and making me out to be crazy, right? And now I see it because I'm like, my aunt just told me to move away from like my family up here, like everywhere. She's like, no, you got to get away from them. They're all toxic, which a good majority of them are toxic. Don't get me wrong, but a good majority of them are not. They were good for me, and they just wanted to isolate me to further execute their plan, right? So my cousin got really messy and really sloppy. Like, she was really, like, to the point of single white female. She started, like, I thought it was cute at first, because she started, like, became obsessive with me. Like, she wanted to know, like, everything. Like, she took me one time. We went when I went to go look at the place, because I went to go scout the place out first. When she started talking about Rhode Island and Massachusetts, I was like, okay. So I went down there for one Thanksgiving to see it. And I was like, no, something feels off. Like, even in her energy, like, be mindful of people's energy. I felt sick, I felt ill, and I wasn't myself, and I was so exhausted and drained. And then she was good to the point where she was like, I'm coming back for Christmas. And I'm like, I said, no. I said, you can't. Like, it was a reaction, like a allergic reaction. So pay attention to your body and how you feel around certain people. Do you get headaches? Do you get sick? Do you get drained? Are you know what I mean? Like, pay attention. Right. So it was weird and stuff like that. But at that time I was working at Planet Fitness. I was going for management position over there. Well, supposedly, I got set up over there because I came in and I was outperforming the manager at the place, because the manager at the place was like, oh, I can't get black cards here. But they didn't try. She was basically like, she was pretty face, but with no managerial skills, no business skills whatsoever. The place was like a mess, and she'd be like complaining. She was basically starting her own fires. She would go around and complain like about each and every employee to each other. I should not know somebody else's business if you are a manager and you're talking to me about somebody's personal business. I shouldn't know that. But basically it was like causing fires. Like I've seen that in management positions. That's somebody that is very insecure and has no business being in a leadership position. And basically sometimes it's not who you know, it's who you blow. And that might have been that case. Maybe. I don't know. She seems like that type, but whatever. Yeah, so the chick was stupid, whatever. She was always like putting out fires that she was probably starting herself and just for attention, because she had to be like the it girl, the pick me girl, that pick me girl. Hey, pick me girl, I want the attention. How grabbing attention. See, this is the thing. Commanding attention and begging for it are two different things. People don't understand that. It's not the same. Yeah, so she was very upset because they had like red screens and stuff, and like it was something at like her red screens were at 24% and they were supposed to be capped at 3%. You do that math. So, and a lot of the problems were as simple as catching like a misspelled word in a computer, which I don't understand, because when people would walk in, the red screens flag. So all you have to do is pay attention. That's it. Focus, pay attention, red flags, and then nip it in the bud. You have to talk to people and fix it. Whatever the red screen says, fix it. Get it down. Yeah, but there were like things I was coming in and I was getting too many, like their excuse was we can't get black cards because there's the wrong kind of people over here. What? No, there's the wrong kind of seller over here. What was that? And like Tommy Boy, he was like, your father could sell a ketchup popsicle stick to a lady wearing white gloves. he was like, oh, the horror. But anyway, right, so that place, when I was working there, it was like stressful as hell, and I was picking up so many hours. Even the one day, like my whole bank account, like I had worked so many hours, it was drained, and when I looked at it, it was sent to my cousin. And I called her bugging out, and she was like, how could that possibly happen? Blah, 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 blah. There's so many ways that could happen now. AI is so advanced technologically now that there's... Not to mention that they enlisted the help of a crooked cop. A crooked cop that's very smart, that's into tech, that has ties with different surveillance teams. It's like gang stalking at its finest. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, she got really weird about stuff and got sloppy and started asking again for my social security number. So when I figured out and I had broken into the one room and seen what I seen in there, it weirded me out. I told my friend's like, Jackie, I don't know what kind of evil you let out there, but you go back in that room and you put that back exactly how you found it. You put that tomb exactly how you found it. You put the mummy back in. Right? So Pandora comes out the box. She don't go back in, unfortunately. Boy, what a box I opened. So I was like, all right, yeah. And at that point, like how I had been feeling, like even in the house, like the energy was the heaviest, thickest, more energy. And I hadn't felt that energy in a long time. And I wanted to get out. It was kind of like, imagine like the Amityville Horror House. Remember when the preacher was like, comes in and is like that. It was that feeling, like that. Ugh, like that. I can't even explain that feeling. Like that's the most horrible feeling I have ever felt. So I was like, all right, I agreed. So now I had to figure out what to do, right? I had lost my job at Planet Fitness because the girl started targeting me, the manager, and set me up really bad. And basically what happened was she spoke in front of somebody that I trained, and he apparently was more loyal to me and told me what was going down, so I had to it out of there before she could execute her plan.